And welcome back. Just to mention that we've added another member of the family who was caught in traffic. Daniel Orogo has just joined us in studio. Better late than never. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you so much.
This is Nairobi. You have just to know how to maneuver.
Yeah, unavoidable circumstances sometimes.
Yes.
But it's good to be here this morning with my colleagues.
Karibu.
Yeah.
We've just been talking about the issue of, and I'll give you maybe a minute or two to, because we are moving to the next subject. We are talking about the issue of the deal that is coming up on Saturday. And the president will actually witness the signing of that pact between ODM, KANU, and Wiper. This is a big deal, and we've just discussed it at length. What's your take on that, briefly?
Well, I think it was, I was hearing the contribution, and to some extent I agree. And I've said time often a number in this panel. The President Uhuru Kenyatta is a Kenyan with an interest at heart and would want to see a safe, secure Kenya after his reign in office. And like I said before, he's an interested party on his legacy as well. And so whoever he chooses to give the baton or support towards post-2022 elections, you know, must be in his mind that must secure the country free from corruption and a country that is peaceful and secure. He's reiterated that so many times. And I've said to him and his political right as enshrined in the Constitution, he has a right to participate in political issues and probably ultimately, you know, support his succession.
Yes.
But what I take a departure on is that he has a vote like anybody else. And he cannot be purported to be seen that he is having a stronger hand in whoever, you know, he wants to be succeeded to him. These are decisions Kenya has to make, and Kenyan voters will go to the ballot and decide. So however much there is a lot of political horse trading in between, and deals that are being made politically, agreements that are being signed, and NDC that are being attended to, I think the ultimate choices lays with the people of Kenya.
Yes.
And that must not be meddled with during election. So I think that is my position, and I agree that for him, and just like a political leader, just like a leader of a political party that is revamping itself, that has been purportedly working and not politicking. So for him is a matter of trying,
purported,
you know,
purported.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Jubilee has been a party, and has been contributing in the National Assembly. We have active members who've been passing bills, and there has been a purge for those who are not toeing to the party ideals. That is right. The party has been active. It's not been like, you know, we've been working. Well, there's been delivery in terms of executive functions, but political functions within the flow of the assemblies has been active as well. So I think this is a point where, as a political leader, and I agree that he has the full authority to take charge of the party and probably spell good for the party as political seasons are here. And so therefore the deal that is being signed and him overseeing the deals, I think is right as a political leader. But as to where that will yield results, it is the decisions of Kenya to the ballot to go and make a choice during the voting.
Okay, well, fair enough. I owe you a slot. That's where I'm coming to. Was Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka prevailed upon to join Azimio?
Now, I am not sure where you're getting that information from.
It's a question I've asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is...
Because after the walkout from Bomas, he remained calm.
Yes.
We didn't see any movement.
Yes.
He was still adamant that he was going to the wire, but all of a sudden he made about turn, and now he's coming to Azimio.
There was no about turn, and there's never really been an about turn. The conversation since the walkout has been, we are going to strengthen OCA. And you have seen OCA going around the country, strengthening themselves and talking to other like-minded people to join them. And that is the conversation that has been, and it still is. Now, the conversations happening around the Azimio leadership, as well as the OCA principles, I say is about how do we get into a grand coalition, which is what I think will be signed on Friday, because those are the conversations that are ongoing. As to whether who will shelve their ambitions or who will support the other, that is for the top leaders now to tell us. In their conversations, they are the ones who will come back and tell us, this is how we have agreed to move forward, and these are our terms of reference. So again, I say to Kenyans, let us be patient. There's no doubt, like I repeat, that which side we are leaning on in terms of working with. And that's why the conversations are happening with Azimio leadership and not with, say, Kenya Kwanza or, you know, or others. So that one is clear. And we wait for Friday for the leaders to tell us, then how have they agreed to move forward? Whose name then will be on the ballot? Whose name will be the deputy president? And then whose name or where will the others go? They are the ones who are going to tell us that. Yes. So all you can do is speculate. I know, you know, media, you really want to be the first ones to
I'm interested in getting
to break the news
from you, from the horse's mouth. And of course, we still need to understand that tomorrow the Sagana 3 is loading. The president will be in Sagana to meet the grassroots leaders there of Jubilee Party. Thereafter, pronouncements will be made, and on Saturday, the president is said to be, will be actually witnessing the signing of that pact between ODM, KANU, and Wiper Party. All of them will be forming that Azimio la Umoja movement. And how it's going to pan out will be interesting to see moving forward from Saturday. Okay, now let's talk about the issue of Sagana 3. And people call it the Red Army. And almost all the legislators from Mount Kenya have been instructed to go back to the ground. Daniel, starting with you, Sagana 3 loading.
Yeah. A lot of hullabaloo about Sagana 3.
Yes.
Of course, it's got a lot of significance in the political terrain right now. And again, like I opined then and put it on the start the other day, I said this very well, that Honorable Raila Odinga has been buoyed by President Uhuru Kenyatta coming in this campaign and giving him a political impetus, that for sure. And by the fact that a sitting president, an incumbent who, you know, his time is just about to expire, openly coming out to give you a lot of support, to declare that you are the better option and safe hands for Kenyans. That in itself is a big boost. That we give to them is something good for Azimio. It's probably something good for, you know, if One Kenya Alliance principles are all becoming on board. It is a machinery that would not be undisputed. And I'm telling you this, that as it goes, the support by President Uhuru Kenyatta, because I am seeing that one of the things he's expected to do in the meeting is to publicly now endorse the former premier in his bid for the presidential campaign, and more now openly say this is where the direction is. This is whipping the whole of central Kenya and members of parliament and people who are light, you know, his vision to see that he is supporting Raila as someone who could continue his legacy. Secondly, I think it also comes to a very interesting time that we haven't seen Jubilee Party having a parliamentary group meeting.
It's going to be the first one.
It's going to be a first one that is structured.
Yes.
And I use the term that is structured, not the ones that are called for a temporary meeting. Each and every political party is important. And one of the things in their constitution is a parliamentary group meeting is one of the organs within the political parties.
Yes.
Every constitution of a political party. And after 2017, I think Jubilee has not been successful in having a structured parliamentary group meetings. And I can see, as done by the start, they are going to have it for the first time, and it's here. So this is something key, and this is a political landmark that the support the Sagana 3 is going to come with is enormous. And I think as I conclude on Sagana 3, it's very important that it is the speculation that President Uhuru Kenyatta publicly is now going to begin to do what I call spilling the beans and trying to say what exactly made him not to endorse his second in command.
Okay.
So this is significant.
All right, Lavender, will the president move the mountain?
We hope so, but the truth is, as the president was busy working, I think his number 2 started campaigning a little bit earlier. That is why we see him really having support in central Kenya,
yes.
Though right now it has reduced. It has reduced enormously because Raila Amolo Odinga has gained ground in central Kenya. So we are yet to see now Uhuru coming out there and gaining, because we felt that he gave his number 2 a lot of space in central Kenya.
Yeah.
So from tomorrow, actually, he's going to spill the beans, as my brother Orogo here says. He's actually going to tell Kenyans why he's not comfortable supporting William Ruto for the presidency. So he's actually going to give details of their working relationship since 2013. So from there, Kenyans are actually going to know what transpired between the two. So tomorrow is very historical.
Yeah.
After tomorrow, we are now going to move forward. Uhuru is now free to move across the country to tell them why he is more comfortable with Raila Amolo Odinga compared to his deputy, whom he has worked with for all these years. And I think they have a working relationship dating back to 2002 when they were together in Kanu.
Yes.
So let us just wait and see. We cannot give much details because I'm not a member of Jubilee, but I think a lot is going to happen. That Uhuru is now actually going to tell them why he's not able to support William Ruto. Because there are some parliamentarians who are arguing from central Kenya that Uhuru Kenyatta did not sit them down to tell them why he's not comfortable with his number 2. So tomorrow I think they're going to have a conversation as a people from central, then they chart a way forward. And I think a lot is going to change. Let us watch and see what is going to transpire.
If he manages to whip Mount Kenya, Honorable Sylvia, how will it work out between because the president cannot now pigeonhole his achievements to Mount Kenya alone. Right now he's a national leader, and politics is now going to go full throttle as from tomorrow moving on, because from the billboards we've seen on social media, we promised, we've delivered. So it's now, we can say that the president has now completely done his work. So what we say ni wakati wa sasa wa siasa.
Yes.
How is it going to play out? Is he going to undo what the deputy has done over these years in Mount Kenya?
Well, I think that is the intention. The intention is now, like Lavender has said,
yes,
is to come out and tell the people of Mount Kenya the truth between what transpired between him and his deputy, and also to explain that there is no debt owed. I think there's that narrative that has been peddled significantly in Mount Kenya. Secondly, also, there's a short time to undo what the deputy president has done. The deputy president has been campaigning in Mount Kenya now for what, 4 years?
Yes.
Yeah, so the remaining time is little. And we believe that there will be significant impact in undoing that narrative that has then been created by the deputy president. And that is why this Sagana is important, just as my colleagues here have said. And we are looking forward to hearing it ourselves. Even us, we are curious. And because, the pronunciations there will also give us something to hang on to when we are campaigning as well, because there's a lot of clarity that will come out in what transpired between the two leaders during their tenure. And it is of great significance because it will change the narrative, it will change the game plan. And let's not forget, Mount Kenya is the biggest vote basket.
Yes.
And that's why everyone always, wanapigia kona huko. Wanapigia kona hapo, because if I can get a little out of this, it adds significantly to the overall basket. So it is in the president's interests that they consolidate the Mount Kenya vote. And it is of his interest that he gets them to follow the direction that he's giving as their leader. And I believe, from precedents, that Mount Kenya listens to their leader. They do listen, and I am hopeful that this time round they will be whipped.
Properly.
They'll be whipped properly because,
into the direction that their leader wants, and I believe it is the right direction. So we look forward to it, as my colleagues here have said. We are all looking forward to the pronunciations of Sagana 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Daniel, perhaps somebody could argue that this is the time that Mount Kenya has been waiting for, because all along the narrative has been there that Mount Kenya does not have a clear candidate, a clear leader. There's that narrative which was given out that president is now going, so there is no strong kingpin in Mount Kenya. But then now the president coming home and saying, you know what, Jubilee is not dead. Jubilee was alive. We are still working, and we are here. And I'm still the leader.
You as well saw what happened over the weekend. The return of Moses Kuria. And the declarations that were made at Thika Stadium. And you could have seen, and from a political angle, you could have seen very, very important key political figures from Mount Kenya. Mwangi Kiunjuri, Martha Karua, and Moses Kuria, who I think have also another coalition. There's another coalition that they belong to.
Yes.
They unilaterally said that we are negotiating for the interest of Mount Kenya. And that we, for now, do not either lie on every other political side.
Yes.
And for me, I see this as a tool that is also bargaining for the interest of Mount Kenya. In that it has not come so well to say that we are affiliating ourselves to either of these coalitions. But right now, what that kind of coalition is doing is bringing out issues. And connotationally speaking, you heard Moses Kuria saying that, I mean, we have provided a backup. Why would they not give us, quote unquote, a vice president or deputy president or running mate?
Yes.
Because that is, according to Kuria, that is the beginning of a conversation. That any conversation that would want to take interest of Mount Kenya must begin from a point of a deputy, not any other. And it also must begin from a point of allowing many political parties not to be clamped, to these kind of one political parties. I think, as I go to what you've asked, Mount Kenya has learned that by collapsing parties in 2017 and forming a party under 12 parties that are collapsed together,
yes,
did them so many harm. And that, one, it killed internal democracy within Mount Kenya to question from different political parties, because you were told you're in Jubilee,
yes,
and you either toe in the line, ship in or ship out, because you're in Jubilee party. And other parties survived. NAK Kenya didn't join that bandwagon, because Martha said she voted Uhuru Kenyatta and remained with NAK Kenya. Okay?
Yes.
And the rest who abandoned their parties were in Jubilee parties. Come, stay, and there is nowhere to go. So I think this is the direction also that President Uhuru Kenyatta has been whipping Central Kenya to. That please look at where your interests are better safeguarded. Proudly speaking, I don't think that the relationship is so much into a love dalliance between the two. But it is a serious convergence of interest, political interest.
Yes.
It is safeguarding of the interest of the whole community. And I had my colleague saying before I joined the set, all these handshakes and writing of these deals, there is no centrality of a Kenyan voter.
How now?
The interests are individual. Because, like I've told you, if you could have traced this, the history of the battle between what is called the two communities and the battle between the two families, and I don't want to go so much into details, is about safeguarding of the interests of the people. And you could have seen that is the narrative that came in, that we do not want to vote dynasties. Okay? That is where the narrative was crafted by one political faction.
Yes.
As we speak, and I keep on repeating here, even as much as we are going to vote leaders, Victor, I want to be very consistent on this panel. Please look at the agendas. Read through the narratives. Read through the economic models. Read through the manifestos very well and understand. Because that is where now you, as a Kenyan voter, you will have a very difficult decision.
But of course, we all know Kenyans.
So reality speaking, ideally speaking, so for me, I think it's just as this meeting is going to proceed. Again, I repeat, nobody should throw tantrums to the president to the extreme.
Okay.
Because he is a political player as well.
All right. Lavender, what impact will this have on Raila Odinga and Honorable William Ruto in terms of their vote hunt in Mount Kenya?
The Sagana 3 tomorrow.
Yes.
I think it will have a huge impact, depending on how everything is presented by the president and his people. There has also been this narrative that since independence, Kenya has only been ruled by people from 2 tribes. That is the Kikuyu and the Kalenjins. And that is why other Kenyans are saying, we are also here. We also need to see people from other communities leading this country. Yeah. So I think from tomorrow, it's going to be huge. And I mentioned here earlier that Raila has been winning the presidency, but there has been a missing link. That is the state. And I avoided saying Raila is a state project. I mentioned what has been missing is the state, the link, that you campaign, you get the votes from the people because he's always had manifestos selling his agenda to the people. Yeah. But the missing link has been the state. We all know what has been happening from 2007. So I just want to assure my brother Orogo here that some of this...
the state is so that we understand.
The state and the government, you know, it is one, you know. The state is what is ruling the country.
Yes.
Yes. So I do not really want to go into explanations, but we all know what the state is. So I only mentioned that what has been missing is now there. They will not interfere. They will let the winner be declared. Yes, that has been my position. And let us avoid terming someone who has been campaigning, who has been winning, a state project. Yes. Okay. So my brother Orogo, we are just hoping that tomorrow we are going to see a very historic moment when Mount Kenya is actually coming together to support someone outside their community. Yeah. You know, it's unheard of. People believed that our brothers and sisters from Central can never vote any other person who is not one of their own. But tomorrow, we are here to see something different, something special going to happen.
You know yes. Mheshimiwa Kasanga, you've been so quiet, but let me ask you this. Will the Mount Kenya region accept the fact that this time around, we are going to give it to another community and we're not going to enjoy it fully, quote unquote, as they're used to? Are they okay with that condition? Has it sunk in them?
Well, I can't speak for them, I'm not sure. And I am hoping that part of the conversations of Sagana 3 will be for the president to prepare them for the fact that maybe they don't have a presidential contender and they will have to support somebody from another community. Yeah. And you know, the good thing is that the president, he has spoken about it. He's on record as well, saying that it is time to, you know, try other communities. And that is why we are all very happy, you know, to see what it is that he's planning for Kenyans way ahead. So I hope Mount Kenya will understand where the president is going with this. Yeah. And in the end...
It goes to Eastern.
Yeah, and in the end, you know, the question of in whose hands is Mount Kenya going to be safe? In the end, that is the question. Mount Kenya has been in government now for quite some time. Of course, they have the interest that they are going to be catered for by the next government, that they'll be given a soft landing. And frankly speaking, after, you know, seeing how, you know, elections in other countries have been, if you take, for example, the politics of Ethiopia, where the incoming government does not give a soft landing to the government that has been before and has been there longer, and that they, you know, they are strong in terms of numbers politically, then it can bring, you know, certain unpleasant scenarios. So there is the interest that Mount Kenya will be given a soft landing, and I can assure you that part of probably the grand coalition that will be formed will be also to ensure that the interests of Mount Kenya are, you know, sort of accommodated in the coalition that will come out of it, regardless of who the leaders are going to be, regardless of who the president and the deputy president will be. They want to be assured that their interests will be covered, and that's how now the basket of votes will be consolidated, you know, once again. And just to comment on something, my extremely vibrant panelist colleague here, very vibrant. Now, you know, this I don't want to call it a narrative, but it is a narrative that our leaders are selfish and they're only thinking about themselves, and in the end, the people will decide. You know, the fact remains that leaders have to arrange themselves to present themselves to the people for the people to choose. So we will arrange ourselves based on our like-mindedness and the things that we share, like we have said.
Right.
And in the end, there will be a name or two names in the ballot for Kenyans to choose. And of course, in the end, it is the Kenyans who choose. But leaders have a duty to arrange themselves and present themselves to the people.
Yes.
And the fact remains, we all want to run government. In the end, politics is about running the resources of this country.
Right.
I have an interest. My people have to be represented in the running and in the sharing of the resources of this country. We don't need to sugarcoat that, because when I front myself as a leader, it is because I hold the interests of the people who have chosen me,
right,
or who have put me in the position that I am in. So it is in order for leaders to scramble and make sure that I get something, and I'm getting that something not for myself, but for the people who have put me in the position to fight for them. So we need to remove this narrative that we are having selfish leaders. Who has determined the selfishness of our leaders? And especially when I come, or when the people of the leaders of Ukambani have been very clear about things like fighting corruption. Because we have seen what others in government have done.
Yes.
And we are saying this time around, you cannot come and say you want to go back to that government when you yourself, your record shows that you went there for your own personal benefits. This time around, we want to go there so that we show Kenyans we are going to actually channel their money to their own needs and their own, the agenda that we have set for them.
Most leaders do not follow chapter 6.
No, that's why I'm saying let us not quote like we are all the same in terms of leaders. Let's not be put in that basket. That basket cannot work.
Yes,
we are chasing this because we know we are going to do the right thing for Kenyans. Let me speak first, my good friend. You had your chance, and I did not even interject. I sat very quietly. I sat very quietly, and it is because we need the correct narrative to go to Kenyans. They are leaders. We are putting ourselves out there, and sometimes we have to do it aggressively because politics is as such. You have to fight for that space, and when we put ourselves out there aggressively, we are saying, give us also the chance. We are putting ourselves out there. We are removing our vulnerabilities and telling Kenyans, even I want to show you what I'm going to do for you. And don't trust this one. He may be louder than I am, but don't trust him because he's been there. Chapter 6, he has not, canvassed chapter 6 well. He didn't lead well. He stole your money. He still has a record that is answerable. So why don't you give a chance to those who have clean records? So don't put us all in a basket like we are all selfish leaders.
Yes.
Actually, a lot of our leaders in Ukambani, even start with His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, very selfless, clean records. And we are telling Kenyans, we are here to show you how we can run this government without corruption. Corruption free.
Yes. I think the best term that we can use instead of saying our leaders are selfish, what we need is to condemn is politics of exclusion, where one is elected president and deputy, and we find that only members of his community are in government, like we have witnessed before. So what we need to condemn, my brother Orogo, is politics of exclusion. We don't really have to put everyone in one basket and say our leaders are selfish. That is wrong. Let us condemn politics of exclusion. That is what has been ailing this country. And we urge the person who is going to be elected president of this country this year to ensure that every Kenyan feel that they belong to the government of Kenya. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Ideally speaking,
Daniel, I only have 3 minutes,
yes,
but
ideally
you've been attacked
speaking,
from both ends.
Ideally speaking, if we were to go that direction, we could have leadership that would have delivered in this country. I agree that the panel is ably represented today by people from different political parties and affiliations. And I agree with Senator Kasanga that, if we would have a conversation about politics that is corruption-free and that is, has an agenda, an issue-based agenda, then we would have. And, sometimes I do not really want to get banned, but sometimes I look at this. All these political leaders and political aspirants, if you look at them and provide with an opportunity to serve Kenyans, they had failed Kenyans before. All these ones, including Kalonzo's and Raila's and everybody.
How has Kalonzo failed?
When an opportunity arises for somebody to be nominated at Ojalla, he nominated his son.
Maybe he's able.
There are other Kenyans who were there and who had equally qualified, but he saw that it was important to nominate his son. Equally to Raila Odinga nominated the brother.
I take exception to that.
On these Sometimes that's why I'm telling you it is important to say the truth, not to hide things under the carpet. When we are coming here to speak about, politics that is free of exclusion, we would want that as an ideal. But we are acknowledging that below the carpet, people are not respecting the ideals of politics and what is required in Chapter 6 of the Constitution. So I'm obliged to say that because they brought it up. That this is what we want from the leadership. We saw this as good leadership. We saw this as people. But why would your interest and Kenyan interest and people who serve in those positions not be guaranteed when you have an opportunity to serve?
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm told that we're running out of time, but Mheshimiwa Kasanga, starting with you, you're running for a position?
Well, when the time comes, I shall declare that. And why must everyone run for opposition? This question keeps coming up. You know, there are many ways to serve Kenyans.
Yes.
And I am privy to the fact that there are many ways to serve Kenyans. It must not always be because I have been nominated in parliament, then my next progression automatically should be to ask, Kenyans to vote for me. There are many ways to serve Kenyans. Yes, we have many ways. We have mental health issues, which I have been an advocate of mental health, you know that. And there's a lot of leadership that is required in our country today when it comes to things that really matter to Kenyans. For instance, like mental health, which not enough people are speaking to. So maybe a national platform is where I need to be so that we can champion for mental health with the seriousness that it actually deserves, something which our concurrent governments have failed to address. So on the question, I say we wait and see first how our leadership is arranging itself.
And Honorable Lavender here is running for that seat in Homabay County.
Yeah, Homabay County woman rep. I was actually down there when you called me. I had to run and come for this interview.
Yeah, when you talk to you, you're so busy. You're not even talking on the phone.
I have been talking like the whole week. That is why you see me struggling. My voice is a problem, actually. So we really have to go out there and fight for these positions. Because when we fail to do so, then there's going to be a generational gap. Right. So I'm here, and I think it's ours to lose. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sylvia Kasanga, who is nominated senator on Wiper Party, Daniel Orogo, who is a columnist and a political analyst, as well as Lavender Ojalla, who is running for the woman representative seat in Homabay County. Thank you so much for coming to the show and for your valued contribution to this show. That's where we put a cap on it. But don't go away, because we are going to talk about universal health care, something that Honorable Kasanga is also passionate about. And you know what? Jen is going to treat that health matter up next.